gentlemen, welcome to another exclusive interview with CIA, a CIA exclusive. My name is Kelvin West, and today I get the wonderful opportunity to be in the virtual studio with Pita Juarez. And we're going to talk all about her new upcoming feature film called La Morena. And she's also the co-director and writer of You Racist Sexist Bigot. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Pita, how are you doing today?
Great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on your show.
Hey man, this is super exciting. We're like we had your buddy Maddie Steinkamp on the show last week, and so super excited to have you on. This is just another element that we're adding to CIA. I kind of want to be like a Anderson Cooper, Barbara Walters type of person. I said that last time. So hey, what the heck? It's 2020. Crazier things have
You're
happened.
you're you're way better looking than both of those people.
Oh well, let's get started. I'm in love with it. All right, so Pita, so tell me all about La Morena. You wrote this wonderful film. It's a short film too. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I was laughing because you were like, "Oh, is that it?"
I
Yeah. So it's a short.
I thought
It's
it
a
was like
short.
a preview or something. I was like, well, I want to
Uh-huh.
watch the whole film. So
Yeah, so it's a short, very short 3-minute documentary. And the
yeah,
reason we're doing that is that we're seeing a lot more of these films that are just like not feature length documentaries. And I feel like people's attention span is like super quick.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
thought that this story really worked well for the amount of time. So yes, it's only 3 minutes. La Morena is about Lucinda Yrene, who is this Chicana artist here in Phoenix. She's from Arizona, and she has been doing art for a really long time. But she just recently tapped into really going into more of her political views. And
yeah, yeah,
that is with, the mural in the film is with, it's about the border, it's about the ending of family separation. When she started that project, um, last year 2019, there was a huge controversy about people actually from Central America, and I'm from Guatemala, so they're actually my people, coming and migrating here. And
wow,
so it was these caravans of people coming over, a lot of them children, and her mural and her story really stood out to me. And so when we actually met through a friend. She had told me that she had been wanting to create something a little bit bigger than the mural itself. And I thought, okay, well, here I am. I'm a filmmaker. I would love to come out and film your whole project, since you feel
wow,
strongly about it. And what I really liked about her was that she was so, people and I'm sure you get this all the time too. People always want to be on your show, or people are always like, I have this idea for a movie. And I love that. And I love brainstorming with people. But she
yeah.
really followed up. She was just like, hey, here's a day that you can come out. Like, I have this other idea. And so I really, really liked that of her. And we went out there and we started shooting with her. And I think her chemistry and my chemistry, it really came together. And I really
Yes.
felt that she was doing something bigger than this mural. And that was last year. And now she has this completely exploded, which I'm super excited for her. She's been sponsored now by GoDaddy. She's working on
Oh my goodness.
murals. She's working on like 3 other restaurants and doing other murals there. And again, she was already this like insanely talented artist before, but I
Yeah.
feel like the film really highlighted how passionate she really is about the message behind her art, right? It's not just like, let's go do something, right? It's like there's
Yes.
so much
Yes.
message and there's so much intention in her work. And I'm happy that I was able to collaborate and that I was able to be a part of that for her in that journey.
As I watched the film, and I watched it a little bit last night, and then I watched it again today, and there absolutely is a chemistry, and I can feel it just kind of radiating through the screen. So, and it really just looks like she was just having a lot of fun and just being really, really passionate about her work. Tell me, why does Lucinda call herself La Morena? Tell us about that.
So La Morena in Spanish means a woman with brown skin.
Okay.
And I think for so long, this whole thing about being lighter skinned has been like that's better, especially sometimes in the Latino culture, right? Where it's just like
Tourism.
you marry somebody who's lighter skin, and there's this saying like "vas a componer a la familia," like you're gonna fix the family, right? By like marrying somebody
Oh
who's
yes.
lighter skin, because the whole thing is to be light skin means power, it means beauty. So for
Access.
her, I think
Yep.
her name, La Morena, her being, a brown skin girl, woman, is something that she's very proud of, and I love that name too.
You know, that's it's colorism. It's absolutely colorism. It
Yes,
happens.
it's all about
It happens.
colorism.
Yeah, it happens in the Black community as well. On our last interview, actually, I spoke about that in regards to you racist, sexist bigot. It's a tongue twister there that we're going to talk about in just a little bit about how colorism is such a huge issue, and that happens within the races, right? Like it doesn't. That's not necessarily the racism, but it happens within the races that they want to be lighter. So that's very interesting. So the whole the basis of the film, she's painting these murals because there are children pretty much that are taken away from their families. What connection do you have to this cause? And if so, can you tell us why is this important to you?
Yeah, so again, I felt that the story that she was trying to tell through this mural was bigger than the mural
Yeah,
itself, because of the moment that we were in. And I think the politics behind it is that, we're in Arizona, we're in a border state. We've, like you said earlier, we're always looked at as this like
the first to do it
red
wrong, right?
racist state, and we are. And I think
Yeah,
that there is still a there is so many people, and a lot of them I'm so proud that are my friends and people that I can call friends, who are working really hard to change that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
in the border, we're seeing this massive wall that's going up. Who knows, right? It's really humorous to people that they think that there is a wall that's going to stop immigration and migration, because we know how uh, that's just, honestly, it's just propaganda,
yeah,
and it's a waste of money.
yeah,
And when we're seeing people come, and again, I was talking about me being from Guatemala, which is why these issues are super important to me, is that you're seeing that people don't want to leave their countries. We don't want to leave our countries. Our countries are
right,
beautiful. uh,
right,
but
right,
because of things like climate change and just the poverty that it exists, we have to leave and we have to migrate, and some of it's risking your lives. So either you're going to die in Central or South America or Mexico, where you're coming from, or you're going to die trying.
yeah,
And it's so much
yeah,
bravery and courage, and yet it's seen here as something that is so terrible. And then you're taking those kids, right, who are crossing sometimes by themselves. I mean, it gives me goosebumps to even think about the amount of stories that I've seen, that you see even these kids who are crossing by themselves, because, right, it's either they're going to join a gang, or
yeah,
they're going to die, or they
yeah,
have to die risking their lives at like 8 years old. And then when they get here, they're stuck in a cage. And they
yeah,
literally are in cages, in the border. So I feel like these issues, we have to keep talking about it, especially immigration. It is something with You Racist Sexist Bigot, is that people feel like they know so much about these issues, yet we
yeah,
don't know anything. We know 1% of it, because being somebody who is an immigrant, there's like a million different types of cases that are immigration, right? So
yeah.
not one case is the same, not one thing is the same. So when people say, I did it the right way, well, it's just like, well, you had different circumstances.
Right, right. Isn't that something?
There
I
is
mean,
no
yeah,
right way to do it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
again, it's this rhetoric of immigrants are bad, and you're here to be rapists and killers and whatever those stupid words were. So I feel that art has been very revolutionary in this time right now, and we can go out and we can protest, because I think that that's really important, to speak your mind and to raise your voice. But because of COVID, if you're high, um,
high risk. Yeah,
yeah, if you're high risk, maybe you can do art, right? And those are the things that we've been seeing, which I think is, what was that saying? The revolution without artists is not attractive.
all right now.
Right?
That's
Because
a good one for me.
there's
That's a good
murals,
one for me.
there's
Uh,
murals, there's film, there's so many people doing so
there's
many
art.
things, right? Like
Yeah,
we're on Instagram and we're sharing all these really cool memes, right? So people are getting really creative, and I think that that's, if anything, COVID has done is really push people to put out their art more, right? Whether that's a poem, whether this is this mural and you're just working at it by yourself. I joke with Lucinda because when we were taping the movie last year, she was wearing this huge mask. And I was like, dude, you were ready for COVID. So
It's-
I'm happy to be a part of anything that's creative,
yeah.
that has a message that is also really important to me.
So you know what's interesting is that it's very what you're saying is so spot on. COVID-19 has truly taught us new ways to communicate and new ways to connect. Call in America. Call in America is was born because of COVID-19. It started as a social distance hotline, and then it switched over
Mhm.
to Call in America because we realized that there needed to be a space for people to connect with people about what's happening in the world. You know what I mean? And not get it from our news sources and whatnot. So again, you're spot on. I'm connecting with you because your message is important, and what you're the stories that you're telling is important, and I want
Thank
to be
you.
a part of that as well. So very good. What is your hope? What is your hopes for this short film? Who's your audience? What's your hopes for this? Where do you want this to go?
I hope that our audience is other artists,
Yeah,
that inspires also young people who are looking for outlets of expression. There's so many things happening, and sometimes I think that's hard to like look forward to something, to feel happy, to feel inspired.
yeah,
And I feel like her being this, woman of color, her being this mom, her being this survivor of domestic violence, her being someone who not till until last year did she start really getting politically involved, right? So it's never too late. You could do this with your art, if not this, another way. Ideally, we wanted to turn this into a series. So for me, I'm always looking for people who, like Lucinda, have something powerful to say and want to put it
yeah,
out there, and they're not scared to do it, and also want to bring other people along. And I think that's what's really cool. She's been doing a lot of art classes right now that everything is digital. She's been going into these art classes and showing the movie and talking about her art. And I think that that's where the real power is of how, like you're saying, how we're connecting with other people, but
yeah.
how are we also mentoring others to come into.
Yes, yes, yes. That's huge. That's huge. Oh, did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. The screen froze, so I was like, "Uh-oh, what happened?" All right, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. I want to jump right into You Racist Sexist Bigot. We had Maddie Steinkamp, your co-director, on there last week. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of your piece about it and tell us what your thoughts are, where it came from. Go ahead. Tell us all about You Racist Sexist Bigot.
Yeah, so we shot this movie in 2016, which is also a really big, important year. And that seems like forever ago. But it's crazy that nothing was really changed since then, right? So the
Yes.
stories are still as prevalent and as just as they were yesterday, as they are now, and even more powerful. We start the film with Cash and his story, and it seems like Black Lives Matter movement is bigger and stronger than ever
Yeah.
because of survival, right? Because it's still Black people are still dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're excited to put it out this year. For me, the film means it means a lot. It's a lot of experiences of people and people being vulnerable, and me really connecting with all of those stories and really wanting to show people's power,
Yeah. Yeah.
and in their story, right? Because we
Yeah.
also don't want to trigger people when they're telling stories about something that they've experienced in the past. And I'm excited to see how the writers are going to really highlight their own stories, and they're so proud of those stories. And I am also excited for the audiences to connect. We've shown the film a couple of times at film festivals, and also in Phoenix, we had a couple of showings that were special showings because of Indie Film Fest. And every single time, people come up to me, and it's like very different people, right?
Yeah.
And what's really cool, and I'm excited for when the film comes out and see how that works, is that people will come up and they'll be like, "Oh, I connected with that person," and I was like,
Yes.
"Really?" So like, I have a friend who is like this, Harvard grad, white dude, 30 years old, straight white male, and he was like, I felt like I got punched in the gut when I was hearing, this story. and it made I connected, and then I just thought in my head, wow, I never thought that that would be the story that he would connect with, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
and then other people and other people and other people. So to me, that's what's really cool is how relatable the stories are, right? There's going
yeah.
to be a story in there that you're going to connect with. And we were talking about colorism earlier, and to me, I've always loved the color of my skin. I love like my caramel, skin. And there are so many people that came up to me in the film too that they were just like, yeah, I hated the color of my skin growing up.
Yeah.
And or
That's the
I
same.
hated this about myself. And then,
That's the same.
somebody so and so talked about it in the movie, and it made me really think like, oh, that was me. And I was like, oh man.
It's an interesting point that you bring up there is that, you see you've always loved the color of your skin. I've always loved the color of my skin. What's interesting is that I think that we've all always loved the color of our skin. I think that we've been taught to hate the color of our skin through
True.
through
Mhm.
society. And so it's unfortunate that that is what we live with, but it's just so interesting. There's a lot of people that say, why does everything have to be about race? Well, because everything is about race.
Right.
Everything is about race, and it's truly unfortunate. So really, really excited to be a part of this entire process. You racist, sexist bigot. I got to slow down when I say that. It debuts September 20th. You guys can do a virtual launch. Taylor, my husband Taylor, and I are going to be a part of that. What do you hope to accomplish September 20th?
I want as many people to watch it,
Yeah.
and I felt like this year we were like, "Oh, is it opportunistic to put this out there?" And I'm just being real with you.
Yes.
But
Yes,
I
it is.
don't want to
Go
see
for it.
it, and I
Yes, it
don't
is.
want to
Go
see
for it.
it as I don't want to see it as I am a woman of color, an immigrant myself, a
Sure.
queer person myself. I am part of a lot of identities and marginalized groups. So I feel like, and then also like the writers in our film are
Yeah.
also a lot of those uh, identities. So I feel like it's coming from a place of education and tool and consciousness. And like you said, to me, the film is all about relatable storytelling and the
Yes.
power of storytelling because
Yes.
we never scripted anything, we never narrated anything. We really put a camera in front of people's faces, and we're really respectful to the vulnerability of saying like, can you tell me what it's like to be a cis white male? Yeah, just kidding, I don't want that. Just like all the other identities, right?
It's so funny. It's so funny that you bring that up. It's so because I asked Maddie on the last interview. I said, can a cis white male be oppressed? And we talked about that. We talked about how that's kind of like no. I mean, no, not in America, not in today's times. And so I want to take a step back, and I personally just I want to be real with you, and I want to comment on you said is this opportunistic? Here's the thing: you guys made this film in 2016. There's no way, unless you had a crystal ball, for you guys to know what was going to be happening in 2020. There's just no way. 2020 was an explosion of of people coming together, really, on some very tough and real issues that have been issues since 2016 when you guys made this film. So
Yeah.
now is the time to release this film, and I think that it's important that you release this film now because it
Yeah.
shows how far we've come and also how much further we have to go. You know what I mean? So I think it's important
Yeah.
that you show this film now. So
Yeah, and in the
yeah,
past, I mean, the reason I think to make it clear, the reason it took so long to put it out was
sure.
because the movie was out there living its beautiful, wonderful life by itself. So
Yeah,
it was part of colleges. We've been in a couple of universities,
amazing.
ACLU, LCV, a couple of organizations who have taken it over and part of their curriculums and part of their things. So it's been like a private screening for a lot of different things in a lot of different organizations, which we're really proud of. But now I think it's time to just put it out for everybody to watch and the public to really enjoy and to really feel the power of these stories, right? And I think
Yeah,
it's a collective, and we all came together and really, like you were saying earlier, it kind of we got our shit together, right?
yeah,
Um, we
yeah,
could really be more open to things that are unknown. And I think that that's what's so scary to people,
yeah.
that it's like, well, I don't know anything about that, right? So they're just like, oh, black people or gay people or trans people, right? And it's just like the
Brown people.
unknown
Yeah,
is too scary. But yet,
yeah,
if you sit down and have a conversation with people, right? Like it's like traveling. So like if when you're traveling, just wanting to meet new people, right? And people welcome you into their home and they give you a plate of food that you don't even know what it is, but you're gonna eat it. I hope
Hey.
Um, right?
And
But
it's
I
gonna
think
be the
that
best
that's what it
proof.
is. It's like having real conversations about
Yes.
people's experiences and saying hi to your neighbor who might be
Yes.
Muslim and wearing a
Yes.
turban, or you know what I mean? So I hope that that's what we see, that we're all the same, we're all human beings, and we should all have the same rights as everybody else in America.
And we're all different, and that's okay. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think that we need to respect each other with that. Peter, this has been a wonderful interview. Tell us a little about where they can find you. You Racist Sexist Bigot is going to be debuted September 20th at 7 p.m. There's going to be a virtual launch party. You guys are going to send out information. Where can people find information about you, Peter?
Well, I do everything on my Instagram and on my Twitter. And so my Instagram is at PitaJS, and then my Twitter is at PitaJ. And we're going to be putting a lot of cool new content and on Racist Sexist Bigot, and debuting a lot of new marketing, which I'm so excited for everybody to see. And so you'll see those on my pages and on our Twitter if you follow us there.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kelvin West, and thank you for tuning in to another CIA exclusive. I want to thank my guest, Pita Juarez, and until next time.